TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And for those of you that don't know us, let me introduce Ron and Cathy Tijerina.
Ricky and Lucy.
That's right. We are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Ooh-wee. And when we say warrior, we mean someone that's fighting for their legacy in their home, their workplace, and their community. It's also what people become as they go through our suite of programs.
You know, we think about a TYRO, this is an individual who's trained to do what they're called to do.
Ooh.
You know, so one of our jobs is to equip you to be the best father you can be, to be the best leader you can be, and to create the legacy not only that you're dreaming about, but understand what principles to activate so that you can build a legacy that you can be proud of and that will be passed on generation after generation after generation.
And
right?
we learned these principles through our own experience, right? So Ron did 15 years inside the prisons, and the kids and I did the 15 years on the outside. And through that journey, as horrific as it was, we learned so much about what it means to build a healthy, strong, thriving family. And so our passion is to help people coming behind us build their family strong and successful as well.
So, you know, as we get into today's discussion, it's going to be a good one. You're going to love it. So you don't want to turn this off. You want to stay on. You know, I think about our journey. I think about what things we had to overcome and we had to face head on and not run from. And that's being a TYRO. That's what it means. Face everything and recover.
That's right. Don't look at things and run. Don't face everything and run, but face everything and recover. And so as part of that, we're going to teach you today the things that we learned about not worrying about what other people say about us or think about us.
So today's topic is not everybody is going to like you.
Ooh-wee, right? And you would think that seems obvious, but you know what? So many people come home, and as soon as they encounter resistance and someone that doesn't like them, someone that's not rooting for them, they give up.
They take it what? Personal. So we're going to show you that not everybody's going to like you, and that is okay.
Right, and we are gonna break it down. What is it we're talking about? Why is it important for you to recognize that? And how do you overcome that? Something that seems so obvious, but there's a lot more to it. So stay tuned.
And we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And we have some live bulletins for you.
Woohoo! The bulletin is...
Not everybody's gonna like you.
Oh, the newsflash, right?
Not everybody's gonna like you. And you know, when I think about that, I think about me when I was younger, and I wanted everybody to like me.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was built up in today's world. You know, they got these things of these social medias where people can like what they're doing, and people thrive, and they really want these likes. You know, in fact, they even make fun of people because it's like they're addicted to the likes. Well, you know where that stems from our own insecurities.
Yeah.
Because we want people to like us, and we want to do everything we can to get people to like us.
And when we encounter resistance, it's hard. What do you do when you encounter resistance? Because if you don't know, if you're unable to stand firm on who you are and what you believe while you're in there, believe me, you are going to be multiplied and being tossed to and fro when you get out.
And I want to also share about the extreme about, I don't care if nobody likes me. There's an extreme, man, where you have a bad attitude, where you are carrying your own insecurities, where you know people ain't going to like you because maybe your history, or maybe your criminal record, I don't know what, or maybe whatever it is that you cause people not to like you, and you try to cover up the hurt that you have by believing, you know what, I don't care what they say.
So it's a facade, a wall that you build up to, you know what, nobody's going to hurt me, so I'm just going to like say I don't care. the truth is we all care. We do care. And so we can build walls and walls and pretend like we don't care, or we can be on the other extreme of everything we do, we're trying to make sure that people approve of it, and that our idea of, you know what, the most important thing is that everybody likes me.
Well, that would become their identity.
Right. They lose your identity then.
Yeah. So they live on the likes of other people. So guess what? You're not really living.
Right.
Right. And that's what is it? When you come, what we're talking about when we say not everybody's going to like you, what is that? That what we're talking about is, are you comfortable in yourself, in who you are, to realize that not everybody's gonna like you, but you're also at the point of where, you know what, you're not gonna have a negative attitude about not everybody liking you. You're gonna be at peace with it. Where if they don't like you, you're really, when I say you're okay, you're really healthy about it.
You know, so when we meet people, and we meet a lot of people that are so concerned about being liked that they're constantly people pleasing, right? They're like, well, you know what, if I do this, then this is what's expected of me, this is what people are going to like, this is how I'm going to get accepted into the crowd. And that's a childlike way of thinking, right? So children are the ones that are still figuring out who they are, and so they're people pleasing until as they go through adolescence and become adults, mentally, right, and physically and emotionally, now they learn that, you know what, I have a belief system and I have to stand upon my own belief system. So if you are still being tossed to and fro, if you are still worried about people pleasing, then you have not grown up in your own emotions and in your mental capacity. Maybe physically you're grown up, but mentally and emotionally you're not. And so what we're really talking about when we say, you know what, not everybody's going to like you, we're talking about, you know what, you've got to figure out the place where you're authentic, where you are true to who you are, where you do what you believe is right, regardless of what other people think.
But when you come to that place, you don't hurt people to get there.
Right.
You don't disrespect, you don't dishonor, you don't throw a temper tantrum when you don't get your way.
Yeah.
You know, when people don't like you because whatever reason they don't like you, you are comfortable enough in your own skin, right, with your own thought process, that it doesn't move you.
Right. Let them not like the real you, right? So if you're constantly putting on pretenses and pretending to be something you're not, and then people don't like you, well then, you know, it's like, wow, you know, they don't like me because I said that, but really that's not even how I really think. You know what, let them not like you because you are authentic. You are who you say you are. You don't change your mind, you don't change what you're doing just because the people around you change. Because that person is unstable, right? And so when people don't like you, that's okay. Not everybody is supposed to like you. You're going to have places where people are going to accept you for who you are. They're going to like you for who you are. And then you're going to have places where people are not going to accept you and they're not going to like you. And that is okay.
You know, when we look at an extreme version of people to where they are broken, right? And they realize somebody, whatever's going on with them, you know, I want to talk about if you're a bully, right? When people don't like you and you take it so personal, you begin to vent, you begin to express these negative behaviors, and we call them bullies, where they always look for somebody, maybe weaker than themselves, more likely, or somebody smaller than them, to express, you know what, people don't like me, I'm going to give them reason why not to like me.
So they're going to argue, they're going to fight, they're going to be in this constant defensive mode, right? And so if that's you, that means you are very concerned about what people think of you. The other side, so these two extremes are so concerned about what people think of them that either they just decide, you know what, I'm going to give them a reason to not like me from the beginning because I don't want to be hurt, or you know what, I'm going to do everything in my power to please everybody else, and then they lose their identity. Either side, you're going to lose your identity. So you have the perfect opportunity while you're there, Dad, to figure out, you know what do you really believe? Who are you? What are your greatest strengths and your attributes? And to live up to that person and to lead by example. So what we're talking about is not being a people pleaser and not being a bully.
We call it not being a yes man.
Yes, right? That's right. Or a complete no man, right? So no and yes are the two extremes. Who you want to be is who you're created to be.
And so as Cathy said, that you're in the greatest opportunity, you're in the greatest place that you can find out who are you.
Yes.
Who do you say you are?
Ooh,
right?
wait.
So we come back, we're going to talk about why it's very important that you come to a place in your walk, in your journey right now, right? Where you can qualify this, so you're not that young, you're not that boy with a grown, you're not that grown man with little boy issues when you hit the streets. What I'm trying to say, right?
So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk more about being authentic and about not worrying what other people think of you.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about not everybody's going to like you.
Ooh, that's right, people pleaser. That's right, bullying. Not everybody's going to like you.
And that's a tough place to be, especially when you're broken, right? You're a broken individual. Listen, gentlemen, we have to come to a place in our own experience that you're having right now, and you have to come to this place. You're in a hospital. I know that's hard to say. You tell yourself you're in a prison, but our thinking, answer time 250-397, the best thinking we could do ended up in penitentiary. So our thinking was broken. It was thinking, right? I know you know that term, right?
Getting caught up in trying to find our identity outside of ourselves. Or as Ron likes to sing the song, looking for
love in all the wrong places, right? Come on, guys. We're always looking outside of ourselves for what would validate us.
Yeah.
Instead of knowing that who I am should be good enough. But when we can't find good enough in us, we definitely cannot find good enough outside of us.
So we have to be prepared to face the challenges that not everybody's going to like us. To be able to face that opposition and overcome it, knowing that, you know what, that's okay.
It's okay.
And because if we don't, number one, we will never ever find our own self-identity. We won't know who we are. And if we don't know who we are, then you cannot lead well, Dad, because your kids, then what's happening is this. So if you're constantly looking for validation from other people, and you're constantly people-pleasing or bullying, then you're teaching your kids that it's not okay to just be who you are. That you have to find your identity and your self-worth from other people. And that, again, perpetuates the cycle of looking for love in all the wrong places. Instead of coming to a place of being really comfortable in our own skin and knowing that, you know what, I don't like chocolate, and that's okay, right?
I got a saying that just because you're my color doesn't make you my kind. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Why is that important where you're at? Because just because, I'm Hispanic, I'm an American, and I'm Hispanic, but if they don't think like me, if the guys that want to associate with me, if they still want to get drunk, they still want to get high, and they want to do those things, you know what? Do that over there, but we're not going to do that over here because I don't practice that behavior anymore. And so just because you're my color doesn't make me my kind. What I'm saying is, if you don't think like me, in other words, if you're not comfortable in who you are, if you're not becoming a man of honor, if you're not striving to be better today than you were yesterday, if you're not helping others achieve their greatness inside them, if you're not trying to bring out the potential in others, if you're not doing these things, then we can't run together. Because the opposite would do if you're opposite of that, that means you're trying to oppress people, you're trying to suppress people, right? You're walking around in a destructive attitude, right?
And if you don't learn to resist the temptation to please people just for the sake of pleasing people, you will never build the resiliency that you need and your children need in order to become successful. Because when you come out, you're going to have to resist the temptation to fall back into those same habits. Because it's hard. And we know it's hard, but you know what? We also know that you're up for the challenge if you find the solid foundation of saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and I'm not going to worry about it when people don't like me.
So as you're in the penitentiary, dads, listen to me. You have the great opportunity to find strong men of honor, men of good character around you to help pour into you and help define what you stand for and what you are. Because if you have no foundation, then you're going to be tossed to and fro. You're going to be looking and be tossed with every wind out there that this guy believes in this guy believes in. But you got to come to a place where, you know what? I believe in what? I believe in honor. I believe in goodness. I believe in great character. I believe in integrity. And these are the attributes we're talking about that you build your foundation with, because your children are looking for their identity. And guess what they're going to look to find what they believe in? They're going to look to you, Dad. Right. They're going to look for you for the strength that you demonstrate, that you represent. Because if you're still representing the pimp, the player, the hustler, the womanizer,
then you're teaching your kids to succumb to the bigotry of low expectations that are placed upon them. Let me say that again. When you continue to identify with those negative things because you feel like you've got to please people and meet their expectations, you are teaching your children to succumb to the bigotry of low expectations that are placed upon them. If you want to remove that ceiling from them, you have to remove that ceiling from you. You have to not worry about it. You have to understand and be prepared for the opposition that you're going to face as you transfer from inside the prison to outside. That people are not going to like you just because you carry the label of ex-felon. They're not going to like you because they're going to know about your past. Or they're not going to like you if you think about your old homies, right? They might not like you because now you're forging a new way. But you have got to come to the place that you're okay with that you understand that, you know what, not everybody's going to like the choices I'm making. People are going to expect me to be the same person I was, and I'm no longer that person. But I have to continue to reach my goals so that my children can have a path to follow.
So if you decide to turn a new leaf, right, and you're no longer going to be that person that people didn't like, or maybe they did like because birds of a feather would flock together.
That's right.
From when you was a gangster, right, when you was an OG and all those type of mentality. You were an alcoholic, you were a drug addict, you were all those things, and you've changed your course of life and you're no longer them. You know what, there's still going to be people who don't like you because maybe you hurt them, maybe you disrespected them and all those things, and you got to be okay with that. Now you can try to make amends, you can say you're sorry, or you can just change and you're no longer going to practice those behaviors again. But not everybody, even though you're doing great and you're doing the right things, not everybody's going to like you, and you got to be okay with that. Because what you do is you empower your children to know, you know what, I'm taking the lid off my life and I'm going to reach for the stars, and I'm going to help you do that by no matter what happens, we are going to do the right thing always.
So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to share with you how to do it, how to actually overcome that people-pleasing or that bully mentality. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss this.
We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about not everybody is going to like you.
Ooh-wee. Now just say that. Say that with us.
Not everybody is going to like you.
me.
Me, you.
Let's say it again.
Not everybody is going to like me.
And that's okay.
That's tough, and that's tough. You know, I know personally myself, I wanted everybody to like me.
Right. It's a lot easier
You know?
when people like me, right?
It's easy, and life is good.
But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. And so we talked about exactly what we meant and why it's so important that we face that. And we decide we're not going to be a people pleaser and we're not going to be a bully anymore. We're going to accept the fact that not everybody's going to like us, that we are unique, we're individuals, we have our own belief system, our own goals, right? And we're going to live up to who we are, not let other people define us.
Now remember, these principles that you're practicing, that we're talking about, you Dad, don't go to the extreme and then, because you're the one practicing self-discipline and you're coming into a place of where it's okay with you that everybody doesn't like you, don't turn around and be a bully to somebody else when they're trying to practice those same things that you're trying to do. And because it's really easy to get caught up and forget, wait a minute, not everybody's like me, why am I treating this guy any less than that?
Right, just because I disagree with them. You know what? When we think about disagreeing, that's okay, right? But that doesn't mean we have to change who we are. We don't have to be the bully and we don't have to be the people pleaser. And that will teach our kids that, you know what, this world is full of people that are going to disagree with us and it's full of people that are going to agree with us. And it's okay to have both of those influences in our life. It helps us to build resiliency. It helps us to really define and really hone in on the things that we really believe in. You don't want to just hang out with people all the time that only believe the way you do. You also don't want to hang out with people that don't believe what you believe at all. So you don't want those two extremes, but you've got to have a balance. So the first thing when we think about how do you actually get beyond caring so much about what other people think,
is self-affirmations. You got to start telling yourself, what do you believe? If you're not affirming yourself, then nobody else can affirm you, right? And this is how you begin. Practice makes what? Permanent. Practice makes permanent. So start telling yourself who you are and what you believe, and say it out loud. Look in the mirror, write it down, do whatever it takes. When you walk in the yard, start reading the book that you're writing about self-affirmations. I believe in, and as you begin to say it, I believe in integrity. I believe in
self-control. I believe in honor. I believe that whatever your goals are, that I'm going to be a great dad. I believe that I'm going to be a great husband. I believe that I'm going to be a great employee because I practice whatever those things are.
So number 2 is, when you said it, set goals. Set goals for yourself. As you proclaiming these self-affirmations and talking yourself up, right? Your new belief system and getting it ingrained inside you. Now you got to set goals that correspond with the affirmations that you said about yourself.
And now when we say set goals, we don't just mean, you know what, I'm going to be a great dad. You know what, I'm going to be this. Smaller goals that you can actually measure, that are those mile markers along your path to being a great dad. For example, it might be, I am going to write my child every week. And I'm going to make sure that I send something out every single week. That is a goal that you can actually achieve right now and you can measure.
And that
being a great dad, that's hard to measure.
Being a great dad, what's being I write my son once a week. I write my daughter once a week.
And so there are going to be people that are going to say, you think they're actually reading those letters? Your kids don't care. You know what? You're out of their life. Don't bother. Why are you doing that? And so then that's going to help you build that resiliency to not care about what other people say or think all the time.
The third one that we want to give you today is really, it goes along with accountability, right? You got to have a support group that's going to help you achieve the affirmations that you've been proclaiming, and the goals that you're setting. So your support network is going to hold you accountable to help you measure and help you implement the things you're talking about.
So you've got to evaluate your connections. Are your connections helping you become an independent thinker? Are they helping you live up to your highest potential? Are they helping you reach your goals? And if they're not, it's time to develop new connections, right? So if you're in a group where you just constantly capitulate and you end up doing things that you don't want to do because you're a people pleaser, or you're in a group where you capitulate and you constantly find yourself bullying other people because you're getting so much pushback, you need to find a new group. You need to find a new group, Dad, because you are setting the trend. You're setting the path and the course for your children.
You know, I see a lot of dads inside the penitentiary, the prisons that we get to go to, and they're still running around with the gang mentality, but they're dads. right? And they know deep in their heart that, you know what, I wanted something different, but I don't know how to get something different. I don't know how to break away from this cycle of self-destruction that I'm living in, because this is all I know. And you're a father, you're a dad, and so but you don't know how. Well, this is where you have to make that courageous conversation with yourself. I need to break away from this environment or this peer group that I'm with. But how do you do that? You start telling yourself, I am a man of integrity. And then what happens is, if what actions that this gang or this group of people you're with aren't corresponding, or they're not parallel with being a man of integrity, you will see plain and clearly, because you have a conscience. You know what's the difference between right and wrong, right? And you will begin to do things that will sever the relationships with people who are not helping you achieve integrity, honor, goodness. You will sever those relationships because you will begin to live the affirmations you proclaim upon yourself.
So what you are learning to live in is self-regulation. What you're learning to do is resist the things, the temptations that cause you to self-doubt and to actually fall into a trap of either people-pleasing or bullying. And therefore, you are building resiliency. When you build resiliency, you will be able to overcome the obstacles that are in front of you inside the gates and as you transition home, and you're paving the path for your children to have successful, healthy, happy lives.
The challenge you're going to face right now is getting people, or get yourself to understand that not everybody's going to like you. And really be good with that and be okay with that, because with what you have to offer, it's for the people that need to get that.
Be yourself.
Be you.
That's a key message that we're saying. Your kids need you. Authentic, true you, not that's something that somebody else is defining who you are and you're just living up to their low expectations of you. Instead, you're setting the standard and you're living up to it.
So when we come back, we're going to wrap all this up and, right?
Yep, and we're going to finish it up with some key points that you can really apply right now where you are. So stay tuned.
And we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about not everybody's going to like you.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we're going to take it one step further. There will be some people that hate you.
Oh,
right?
Man,
and
that's
just
right.
Straight up, you've got to be prepared to face that. You've got to be prepared to say, you know what? It doesn't matter what someone else thinks of me. I'm going to continue to do the right thing. I'm going to live up to my potential. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to achieve them. And I'm going to lead my children well in spite of the obstacles in front of me.
So even being you and finding who you really are and standing for your convictions and standing for honors, people are still going to hate you.
Yep.
But you can't let that hate or that dislike for you dictate how you respond to that situation.
Ooh-wee.
You know, because you got to be so comfortable and so rooted and grounded in honor and integrity that when they come against you, it like bounces off you, right?
That's right. Because the two extremes, and we keep saying this, is either you're going to capitulate and become a people pleaser, or you're going to be defensive and become a bully. And so when you can avoid either one of those, it's because you've built in that self-regulation through practicing resistance, and now you have got this incredible power, right? Where you can say, you know what? I can overcome that because I am resilient.
And you know, that is so key to your success when you hit the streets, because you're going to take things personal, and you have to come to a place where, you know what, it ain't about them, it's about me and how I react or respond to any given situation. When you get a job, when you get home, when you're working with your wife, when you're working with your parole officer, when you're dealing with whoever you're dealing with, look, people are going to maybe judge you, or you're going to take it personal, thinking that they're judging you, and they don't care nothing about you.
Right? Yes. And you've got to be able to overcome that. So Dad, you have earned the perfect place right now to begin to really be introspective and say, okay, who am I? What do I really want out of this life? How do I really want to lead my kids? And begin to practice that, and practice that based upon your own principles and not someone else's expectations. And the more that you practice that, the more permanent it becomes in who you are. Because practice makes permanent, right? Not perfect. When you practice that where you are, it will become much easier to face the obstacles and the opposition on the other side and continue to practice it once you get out.
And your children are counting on you to represent and demonstrate what that looks like. Because when they face this same scenario, when somebody doesn't like them, maybe because you went to prison, or maybe because when they get older, that somebody doesn't like them because whatever they're standing for.
That's right.
Look, you are empowering them and you are equipping them to have resiliency, to build this stamina to where, you know what, I'm not going to be moved by them liking me or not liking me, but I'm going to be moved by how I feel, what I stand for, not based upon somebody's opinion of me.
And this is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to your children. The most empowering thing that they can be is to recognize who they are and to stand firm on what they believe and who they are, not who someone else is defining them as.
So thank you for letting us be part of your journey today. We do hope you enjoyed today's show. So until next time, always remember
That
we are rooting for you.